What? Oh my gosh, Shasta. I can't believe I'm done. Oh wow.
You're
Was
not done
that
yet. You're
a
not done
big
yet. We got like 20 minutes.
we got 15 minutes.
So not even 20 minutes, 15 minutes. But you know what? I'm thinking about how we just would ended with some wonderful words of wisdom about how listening is a gift. And Julie, if you're still listening, yeah, that really resonates with me. And now I'm feeling like I should just sit quietly for these next 15 minutes.
Don't you dare. That's great. Thanks, everybody. Now Shasta give me the closing.
But
I have
yeah, I want to know. I mean, you've been the one moderating all of this. How are you feeling?
you know what? My brain is going faster than my lips. And my Zoom is clearly going slower than anything else. So it's been quite a day.
Well,
Uh-oh.
and here we are, and you've done just a terrific job. I've been in your shoes, and I know how hard it is to make it look easy. So you did just an amazing job. But I have been overwhelmed today with the contributions, not only of our panelists, but of our listeners, and the interactions that we've had, not only in the chat, but also in the separate sessions for discussion, that people have been very engaged. And it would be lovely if we were able to hear from some of our folks who are still with us listening to the wrap up. And I'll even ask for our folks in the chat, maybe just put one word or a short phrase that sums up how you're feeling about what you learned today, or what was something that you heard that just resonated with you or brought tears to your eyes, and maybe we can share some of those and talk about some of those.
I love that idea because overwhelmed is exactly right. From that first panel on sovereignty, such amazing speakers all the way through. And I just loved the way I'm still also like thinking back to panel 3 and Will talking about the flow of knowledge and the engagement of people. I'm really feeling like the questions that were asked were really great questions. So yeah, audience, thank you so much for sharing your questions. You're really thoughtful. I haven't had the time to actually jump into the engage button. Have you been to any of the engage pieces there, Shasta?
I have, and people have asked some wonderful questions and made some great comments. And I noticed that a lot of the questions seem to be coming from folks who want to do the right thing when it comes to engaging with tribes. And they have a lot of questions. And I really appreciate those questions. And I know for some of those folks, this may be the first time that they've ever had the opportunity to hear directly from tribal folks about what is important to them and the best way to approach tribal communities. And I was taken by that, because there was one question in particular, or the comment was that this person didn't realize that it's important to keep tribal knowledge confidential. And this person's take on it was, I would think that letting more people know about this knowledge would be a better way to protect it, because you share with people why it's important. And so it was very mind opening for this person to realize that actually, no, sometimes sharing tribal knowledge actually endangers that knowledge because it gets used in ways that are not appropriate. So that's wonderful. I mean, if that's just one person that we've reached through these wonderful conversations today, to realize that you're not helping by spreading, something that a tribe once kept confidential, that there are different values, then we've gained one more ally in our ability to do this work in the right way.
I love that. And the thing is, I love that you brought up this as a conversation because it really is. I know it's a day-long / 3-day-long event, but the truth is, this is just the beginning of conversations. And there are, of course, other forums, but there will be SWAF 2022 in April. And we're looking at building on this knowledge. We really tried to be foundational today. And, I think it's great. I think I would love for the audience to kind of think about, maybe tomorrow you can really sleep on it and write it up, but think about what it is you need to hear more from, because there was an exceptional amount of information from some really great minds. So yeah, I love it. This is the beginning conversation. Absolutely.
I hope that people really use their workbooks. I feel like that was a really fantastic way to keep engaged. But I'll tell you, let's talk a little bit about the unexpected, and how we did have we did have a little bit of technical difficulties, and there's a couple of things to learn from that. And one is just from a very basic resource level, is that there are a lot of parts of this country, and it includes a lot of Indian country, where broadband internet access is not what it should be. And I don't know if that's the issue for you today, Melody, if there's just not great internet connections where you are today. But that's something that needs to be worked on. We can't do this work if we can't talk to one another. And this is the new way, that even if we can't all be together in person, we can still be together virtually, but not if you don't have the tech, not if you don't have the broadband that's necessary. And then the second thing is that I learned this a long time ago. I have a bachelor's degree in natural resource interpretation, and one of the things we were being taught was to do public presentations, like to be park rangers and interpretive specialists. And the big advice there when doing a presentation was always be prepared for your tech to fail. Now, I'm old enough that the tech we were talking about then was, what if the bulb blows out on your slide projector? You have to be ready to give your presentation without your slides. And that's still true today. And my friend, you knocked it out of the park with your slide-free water story. And the comments coming in and people saying, I'm getting more from this. And because why, I think? What were we just talking about? Listening. People had to listen, and you told the story and made that pause, and the responses just started coming in for how to finish that story. I think that wouldn't have happened if there had been slides. What do you think?
Well, my slides are really good.
Sure they are, but you were prepared.
Yes, there is, that's a good point about Indian country, which, by the way, both Steffi and I, who had the worst connections of the day, we're in Tucson. So we're not necessarily in a rural space. I think something is going on in Tucson with our Wi-Fi. I'm always afraid when the manager tells me they're going to upgrade. I'm like, oh no, something's going to happen with that internet.
Mm-hmm.
So preparation is key, though, even when it comes to listening. So going into communities, meeting people, prep all the time, and then, yes, hashtag wildcard. Every day, man. Every day is hashtag wildcard. When you work with communities, you don't know who's going to show up. You don't know what their opinion's going to be today. You don't know what direction. Oh, how about councils have their elections? And then you have all new players at the board, and
Yes.
It's just time to keep going, be prepared,
Mm-hmm.
be balanced. And so, yeah, resilience. Thank you. Thank you there, John Parada. It's all about being resilient when you engage. And that starts with all of us, too.
Yeah, it really does. And I think that we really created a perfect metaphor for what we are all dealing with these changes that are happening in our environment and in our world, that we need to know how to roll with it, and just expect that sometimes things aren't going to be the way we planned. And that can be a tough lesson for people like me to learn. I tend to be, very focused on, all right, I want things to be just this way. And speaking to the people in the background, Amber and her just incredible team, I'm sure you guys were all just peeing your pants when that stuff was going on. And again, I've been in those shoes too, where you're the organizer and something like that happens. But you did an amazing job of keeping everybody aware of what was going on, and letting us all know who we were, where we were, and even now, Melody, I'll just say you're lucky that your screen is frozen, even though we can hear your voice, but you don't have one of those funky expressions. You just look like you're in the middle of a profound thought. So
I am in the middle of a profound thought.
I think that all of our thoughts are profound, but sometimes I'm just thinking about donuts, and there's nothing profound about donuts. But I don't know if there's any final messages we want to give. We've just got a few minutes to wrap up, but I think that we should leave you with the last word, because this was just an amazing job by you and by everybody today. And my final thought for everybody would be just to take the rest of today to listen to the people around you, but also take a moment to listen to yourself, and tell yourself what you learned today and where you're going to take what you learned. And then, Melody, I'm sure you have some amazing closing thoughts for us.
Thank you, Shasta. I am with you. I think reflection is called for after this today. There were so many messages. They touched back into yesterday's presentation. And then tomorrow, talking about fire. We also need to prepare ourselves for these conversations. I really love the beauty and the grace of which everyone's talking about things like the pandemic, about the urgency of climate change and flooding. All of these things are so important, and we're all in the middle of it together. So really take some time, be kind to yourself. We'll see you tomorrow. And further reflect. I would even go so far. I love to journal. Journaling, it just really helps me clarify so much of my life. You have that opportunity in the workbook. There are places to take note. Take a moment. When we sign off, write some thoughts for yourself, maybe questions for tomorrow. We're here to listen to you too, even though I can't see all your faces on Zoom. So take care, be kind. We'll see you tomorrow.
Good night, everybody.